Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Off the Dome podcast. We're so excited to be here to tell you all about round two of the college football playoffs. I'm here, Noah Smith, alongside Brady Taylor, man, the myth, the legend, live from Alabama. Obviously, I'm in Newton, Massachusetts, represent, but we're so excited to be here to tell you about what
hmm
was a crazy first round of the college football playoffs.
Yeah, it was. Missing the suit today. It's a little bit warm here in Homewood, Alabama. I'm sure it's a lot warmer than it is up in Newton. It's
Yeah.
65 all day, but I still got my DeBoer hoodie on. Have to represent. Don't have the suits today. Left it up in Syracuse, but got to represent with the DeBoer hoodie.
Yeah, you got a lot of Bama stuff going on. I think is that a Nick Saban poster in the background?
It is signed on a golf course, by the way.
Yeah, that could go for millions at an Alabama auction market. But yeah, so crazy week that we had. I mean,
Was.
probably the upset of the week was Miami beating Texas
hmm
A&M. I know I didn't have that. I think technically you're the dome head this week because I think you picked Tulane to beat Ole Miss. One of the first
hmm
weeks that I'm not the dome head, so I have to gloat a little bit. Um, Hopefully I can keep that streak alive this week. But yeah,
hmm
Miami, a great defensive performance against Texas A&M. Not easy to go into that Kyle Field and get that win against the 12th man, against a really good defense. And we saw a lot of defense in that matchup.
A lot. I mean, one touchdown with like 2 minutes left. Malachi Tony, I was impressed with him, seeing him fumble that ball. It wasn't his greatest game of the year, but to see him, they trust him, their wide receiver one, their freshman, to get the ball back and score in crunch time. You got Michael Irvin going crazy on the sideline, dapping up the teammates and acting like he's on the team. But I mean, he's a legend. What else could you?
Yeah.
Mighty legend.
Reminds me of the high school star quarterback who comes back to the games and he's like reliving his glory days. But a team that is in their glory days now after a little bit of a struggle and to your delight, Brady, Bama, that big win over Oklahoma wasn't looking too good at the beginning, but then pulled it together in the end, typical Alabama fashion.
No, it was not looking good. Then, you go back, one player that stepped up big, which we'll talk about him later on the show, but Lazir Brooks really showed up. He got that fourth down conversion early in the second quarter, and then they got the third down conversion. If it weren't for him, I wonder how this game would go. I mean, Xavier Brown with another pick six at the end of the half. His Tennessee one, not quite as electric as that one,
Yeah.
but it was up there. It was huge. I mean, this Alabama team after the first quarter, as I mentioned last episode, can anyone roll this version of the Tide? I mean, I don't know if they can.
We'll
We'll have to
see,
see.
man. Yeah. We're
We'll
gonna
see
get
if
to
that
that
version of
later.
the Tide
Yeah.
shows up.
Yeah, we'll see which if the tide is at high tide or low tide here. They were at low tide going in the SEC championship, but that win over Oklahoma was convincing. But not as much drama in those other games.
Oh yeah, no. I mean, what else can we say? We've got people like Paul Feinbaum going on and being like, why on earth are we letting the group of five schools in? I mean, he's got a point.
Yeah,
This isn't March Madness. We don't need to treat it like March Madness. The just look at the line of scrimmage. I mean, these schools such as Oregon and Ole Miss, I don't care who the coach is of Ole Miss, they're going to be able to out dominate Tulane on the line of scrimmage. Doesn't
100%.
matter what kind of playmakers, they may have a good wide receivers. It's just the line of scrimmage battle is not going to be close enough. But I mean, who else? Everybody knew this was going to happen. It's a shame. I love the group of five schools. I'm happy to see them get an opportunity to play on a big stage. They just didn't show up. I mean,
Yeah.
this isn't Memphis anymore, I guess. For
Yeah,
the
no, it's
schools.
not. Although Brady, you say everybody, let's not forget that you picked Tulane last week to beat Ole Miss. I don't know if
Did
any of
that.
our viewers are doing fact checks on this, but Brady Taylor was a believer in the green wave.
Me?
I was
Who
not.
was that?
From the beginning, I said there are clearly levels to college football. I'm never gonna trust a team that their best game of the season was against Louisville to go in and beat Oregon. Obviously, I mean, those two games, some of them were a little bit closer than I expected, and we'll get to that later,
Yeah.
especially with
I
JMU.
mean, JMU's offense looked really good. It's just they couldn't stop Oregon.
Right. Yeah, and Dante Moore definitely didn't have his best game, but a team that did not make the college football playoffs, like we thought maybe should have happened with the group of five games, was Michigan. And Brady, what's our
Mm.
news with Michigan? Some stuff went down there.
So I'm hearing earlier today that Michigan is hiring former Utah head coach Kyle Whittingham. Apologies to John Hexter out there. I don't really know how much I believe in this system. I mean, the O line playing on the line of scrimmage is huge in Michigan. We've seen that at Utah. They've had some solid line play. I'm wondering if Cam Rising is going to transfer to Michigan for 11th year of eligibility, but
Yeah.
I don't know. They had a subpar season this season and a subpar last season. I don't know, frankly, if I believe in this hire. It's 5 years. He said he wanted to leave Utah just because he's been there forever.
Yeah.
The coach, and we have coaches entering the transfer portal in the Big 2-5, but
Yeah.
I don't, I don't know. I mean, we'll see how he proves me wrong. Michigan's not really the hottest program out there right now, I don't
No,
think.
no. And they've
But
clearly
yeah.
declined since Harbaugh left them. I
Mhm.
mean, they haven't made I don't they weren't in the playoffs last year, I don't think. So
They were
they
not. They
haven't
finished 7-5.
right, they haven't made the playoffs since he's left them. And Bryce Underwood, he was great out of high school, five-star, big time prospect, but not exactly what we thought we were gonna get from him. I mean, he was
No.
fine, but he definitely didn't pop any eyeballs in terms of this
Mhm.
kid is gonna be something greater than anybody ever knew.
Michigan this year was just very average. I don't think
Yeah,
anybody was really like, oh, whoop-de-doo, Michigan's on our schedule. Gonna
yeah.
be a doozy. But I mean, they beat Alabama the last 2 years, so I can't really say
True.
anything.
They couldn't get their yearly win over Ohio State. It seemed like it was going to happen again.
Mm-mm.
Michigan in the depths of Tartarus and Ohio State on top of the college football world.
Hmm.
And then I was expecting
Yeah.
the upset, honestly. But
Hmm.
Ohio State, as I mentioned them, they are the first team we're going to get talking about. So let's start it off with the Cotton Bowl. I don't know if this hoodie is cotton, but most of the clothes we wear are cotton. I'm jazzed for this matchup. I think this is going to be a great one. Number 10, Miami taking on number 2, Ohio State. If you can remember, Ohio State had the bye week, so this is their first game of the playoffs.
Hmm.
Miami had that
Yeah.
great win against Texas A&M. Less than 40 combined points in that game. Really close defensive battle. I mean, less than 20 points in that game, excuse me. But that game was amazing. Even though there weren't that
Hmm.
many points scored, the defense on both sides, Cassius Howell,
Hmm.
Ruben Bain, it was everything you could dream of as a true football fan. And man, that Texas A&M crowd was getting into it. But at the end of the
Was.
day, Miami got the dub on the back of Carson Beck, Ruben Bain, and that running back. He was incredible. He's going to rise up the draft boards after his performance. Mark
Hmm.
Fletcher Jr., that is a name that you need to know coming into this matchup. But Ohio State has some talent. So, Brady, what are we thinking?
Ohio State, they arguably have the best wide receiver room in all of college football. I mean, Alabama's up there, as we know. Tennessee's up there. A bunch of schools you could make the argument for. They have a great wide receiver room at the end of the day. Even if they don't have the best one. But there's no point in having a great wide receiver room if the quarterback has zero time. You got Ruben Bain and Mezider are going to be a tough challenge for this Ohio State offensive line on the offensive side of the ball for them. Miami Miami on their offensive side of the ball. Apologies, I worded that terribly, but with Malachi Tony and Mark Fletcher Jr., who took over that last drive.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, it's going to be a great defensive battle. Two great defenses once again. Miami, I'll be in Disneyland during this game, so I won't really be able to watch this, but I think Miami gets it done. I
Wow.
mean, the whole world bet against them last time.
That's true.
They're going to do it again. I think on the backs of Bain and Mesidor, as well as the play from Fletcher, I think those are the X factors, and I think they're going to show up. And I think the Canes are going to beat the Buckeyes.
Mm. So you're saying it's all about the U. I think it's
Hmm.
all about Brutus. I think it's going to be an Ohio State dominated matchup. Every tongue must bow, though. I was wrong on Miami. I thought
Hmm.
they were just in the tournament as an ACC industry plant so that the division stays alive, the conference stays alive, and they get to keep playing games with good teams in their conference. But Ohio State, I think, is a different level than Texas A&M. While Miami has the talent and they're a great team, Ohio State has much more talent, especially up front. A&M has some good pass rushers, but I think Ohio State's linebackers, their front guys, are going to be a better matchup for Mark Fletcher than Texas A&M was. I will say though, I don't think this atmosphere is going to get to Miami. If they can survive at Kyle Field, they can survive anywhere. And
Hmm.
OSU's environment, I'll be the one to say it. I don't think it's that bad. I think Miami could walk in there and they could get this
Hmm.
upset, like you said. But I think talent a lot of the times can beat out these gritty teams,
Hmm.
especially in these big games where you really want the upset to happen. Looking for a guy like Carnell Tate to get involved in the
Hmm.
offense. Sayan has found him so many times this year. He's probably been the most active target. Obviously, Jeremiah Smith there too.
Hmm.
But I'm looking for those two to get involved. And then on the defensive side, I always look at Arvell Reese and Caleb Downs. They're not going to make it easy for Carson Beck. He got by last week, but he didn't play great, and that Miami offense was pretty stagnant against a good A&M defense. I think the Ohio State offense will be able to get more points than A&M could. I think Sayan and Jeremiah Smith are much better than Concepcion and Marcel Reed, even though those two are great. So give me Ohio State, but I do think it'll be
Hmm.
close. I mean, Ohio
Yeah.
State's only loss was against Mendoza and Indiana, who are the number one seed right now. So if
Hmm.
anyone's going to beat Ohio State, I don't think it's going to be Miami.
Yeah. These Canes fans have proved they've can travel. So, I mean, what is a slightly longer trip from compared to, Dallas as opposed to College Station? Like the
Yeah,
Canes fans are gonna be there. We know this.
right. And as much as we love the Big Ten, I mean, the SEC environments are much harder.
They are.
All right.
We'll see
Well,
how it goes.
another good matchup and separated by one seed here. Probably going to be the matchup of the week. Oregon versus Texas Tech. Just a great matchup from top to bottom. Oregon 11 and 1, Texas Tech 11 and 1. Tech's only loss was to Arizona State, I think, which is a little odd.
Hmm.
Oregon's only loss was to Indiana, which makes more sense. But I don't know, man. This is a close matchup. I have been going back and forth on it. Let's hear what you got.
Yeah, this is gonna be a fantastic game. I think, unlike last year, the Big 12 team has a legitimate shot of winning the
Mm,
national title. I don't know if I necessarily think that they do. Arizona State last year was a great team. Realistically, though, they weren't beating Ohio State. They almost beat Texas, but it took a miracle for that game to be close. Once again, I feel like it's kind of a similar story as the Ohio State versus Miami game. Oregon's got all of these weapons. They got Malik Benson, DeCorian Moore, potentially Evan Stewart. I don't know if he's gonna
yeah,
play. Um, but they also running back. He had a great play. I forget how many yards it was, but it was like Oregon's offense struck fast against JMU. But then again, it's JMU.
right.
Everybody like they're good enough to make the playoffs. They're good enough to win the Sun Belt. They're not good enough to compete at the level that is the college football playoff. Both teams are really good. I think against a much better defense with Jacob Rodriguez, who should have been a Heisman finalist. Don't know if I think he should have won the Heisman. Probably, you know, uh, I'd
It's
rather
always
have
shaky
him
when
than
you're giving it to a
Julian
defensive
Said.
player. Yeah.
But like he's defensive players. He had a fantastic year. Dickey at the running back and Morton very underrated. I think the Red Raiders get it done. I think that they shut down the Ducks and prevent us from getting the first ever Oregon Alabama matchup.
Yeah. Well, that's going to come later. It's an interesting point you bring up. Texas Tech, obviously loaded with talent, very well
Hmm.
rounded, got a great D line, as we know. But I think Oregon's run game is really good. They handled JMU very well. Dante Moore, maybe not the best game. I mean, four passing touchdowns, but also two interceptions. One of them 60-yard return on it. Really not a good throw at all. But I do have questions about Oregon, and I think that they're going to get answered against Texas Tech. They did allow 34 points to JMU, which is questionable, but Oregon's defense is made for the pass, and they can most definitely defend against, or they're made for the pass, but they can
Hmm.
also defend against the run. They're top 20 in both rushing and passing yards allowed. Their defense has been sneakily one of the best in college football this year. Texas Tech, they look scary, but I think it's like that image of the sheep that is holding up the lion mask and hiding behind it. And I think Oregon has just enough to irk out a win against this great Texas Tech team. This game is going to be good, but I think Malik Benson is the X factor here and the Oregon front guys who I
Hmm.
think will give Cameron Dickey a tough time today. Or
Can you believe Benson started out his career at a community college and then
I
he climbed his
know.
way up, transferred to Alabama, transferred to FSU, and then now he's all the way out in Oregon? It's
Yeah.
unbelievable.
Wouldn't you like to have Malik Benson on Alabama with how
Mm,
Ryan Williams has been this year?
yeah, I mean, the wide receiver core, speaking of Alabama, they're going to the Rose Bowl.
Oh
They're going to
yeah.
face on Indiana. I'm fortunate enough. Prior commitments allowed me to be in Pasadena on that day. So I will be attending the Rose Bowl. I
Lucky
am
guy.
excited. First Alabama game in over a year now. Excited to finally see my team win, which I have never seen Alabama loss. An Alabama loss in person. They, every game that I've been to, they've been playing like West Lafayette Tech University for this college for the blind and deaf.
Yeah.
But I think that streak continues. Ledzier Brooks is going to have a huge day. Best wide receiver, freshman wide receiver we've had all the way since last season. Not way,
Yeah. All the
but
way since 2024.
he's been talented. I'm excited for what the future brings to him. I think Ty Simpson on Friday looked like September Ty Simpson. LT Overton is coming back, will add a presence on the D line, take away some time from Mendoza. I mean, they do have Elijah Surratt and Omar Cooper Jr., who had that spectacular catch, but I just think the talent disparity on Alabama versus Indiana is going to be the story. Um, just Ryan Williams hasn't been anywhere, but we have other receivers that can step up, such as Jeremy, who had that spectacular catch. I don't know if you noticed it during the game or remember it, that jump over the Oklahoma defender to snag the ball. You got him. You got Brooks, who had two touchdowns last week, including one of the bigger ones. And then you got Isaiah Horton, who had a huge iron ball, stepped up big late in that game. But just there are other receivers. When Ryan Williams has an off night, we have other receivers at the University of Alabama that can make plays. And somebody will make a play versus IU. And that will be why they win. And once again, can anyone roll the tide? We're about to find out.
We are gonna
Pasadena,
see.
California, January 1st, 4 p.m. Eastern Time, 1 p.m. Pacific Time.
Wow. And that makes it, what, 10 straight weeks that Brady has picked Alabama in our game picks. Good record though so far doing so. I think the Taylor curse comes to, or the Taylor blessing, let's say, comes to an end. Unfortunately, as much as I want to side with Alabama, I gotta take Indiana. They're very proven at this point. They've beat the number two team in college football, who I think has a better defense than Bama does. But honestly, I still don't trust either of these offenses. I think Simpson can be
Fair
too
enough.
turnover prone. I think Indiana, they were fine against OSU, but nothing to write home about.
Hmm.
Definitely could have seen a little bit more from them. So I think that this is going to end up being low scoring, especially if both defenses decide to show up. And I think that what puts Indiana over Alabama in this matchup is the coaching. I think Curt
Whoa.
Cignetti, he's a great
Whoa.
coach. I'm going to say it right now. I think he's miles ahead of Kalen DeBoer.
Miles? You think
Miles ahead.
Miles?
I think if you put DeBoer in the Indiana system last year, I don't know if he turns it around into the one seed in college football only
That's
a mere
true.
2 years later. I mean, you have to remember, Indiana was in the trenches. They had not
Yeah.
seen success since my grandpa was alive. And so to turn around a program like that, to play how they've played this year with honestly not that much off the chart talent. I mean, Omar Cooper, he's a great receiver, but he's not really a number one. I mean, if you look at how good some other teams' receivers are, and then you look at IU with Omar Cooper, they're the one seed in the college football playoffs, and their wide receiver one isn't that great. Their defense is above average at best. What it comes down to is this team has been coached to perfection.
Yeah, I mean that's true, I guess. But we have to remember DeBoer was at Indiana. He had Michael Penix there. He led them to being top 10 in the country, and they were further in the dark than they were under Signetti. I mean, it's just the story is, DeBoer left to take the UW job before ultimately ending up at Alabama. Signetti has appeared like or mentioned he hasn't hinted at any wanting to leave yet, which I don't know if I agree with that, but we'll see. Ultimately, we will see who the better coach is
Yeah.
on January 1st.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like it's all about loyalty until you're talking about a guy like Kirk Signett. I mean,
Yeah.
we expect Lane Kiffin to build up a program like Ole Miss and then stay there.
Mm,
And then when
yeah.
it comes to Kurt Signetti, it's where are you looking next? I mean, he is as great as DeBoer was and how he started that process for
Okay.
Indiana. Signetti has put it over the top. I mean, it's pretty incredible what Indiana has done, in all honesty. You look at this
Hmm.
team from top to bottom. They've got a couple guys, but it's not, you don't look at them on paper and think this is the best team in college football.
Hmm.
Granted, Mendoza has made some crazy plays this year, but I think a lot of it has to do with how prepared they are every week for the team that they're going up against. And a team like Alabama, Brady, they do have holes. I mean, we saw it against Georgia, we saw it
Yeah.
against Oklahoma in round one. This team could be exploited. I hope for your sake that they're not, but knowing Signetti, knowing this Indiana team, they will find a way. But I predict a big game from Isaiah Horton. Got to give a shout out to him.
Mm.
If you want to go on the pod, please let me know. But I love the guy's game. I feel like he shows up in every big game for you guys. And in a year where Ryan Williams has been like the dad that went to go get milk, I mean, he's never there. Isaiah Horton constantly shows up in big moments, and it feels like he's
Mhm.
constantly at the center, but nobody really talks about him. For
Yeah, no, he's very underrated. We'll see. He's scheduled to come back next season. Looking forward to seeing if he does. I don't think he's projected. I think he's an NFL wide receiver. I don't know
sure.
if he's a first rounder, but we'll see where he falls in the draft board and he'll make a decision.
Yeah. And if he ever wants to wear the color orange, Syracuse is always looking for new recruits.
Yeah, he'll get the love he doesn't get in Tuscaloosa and
Exactly.
Syracuse. So
Well,
Isaiah,
yeah, yeah, you got
I'd be conflicted if you left. If you were to leave though, get ready to learn uh down the field.
it. Get ready to learn
Get
Collins.
get
Uh,
ready to learn Otto's Army, buddy.
right, exactly. And I mean, we would take him. But let's crank through this last matchup here. The quality wise, the best matchup, tied with Texas Tech and Oregon. But we got number 6, Ole Miss, the Rebels taking on the Dogs of Georgia, number 3. Or Georgia just coming off a great season, but Ole Miss coming off a quality win versus Tulane. They're looking pretty hot. What do you think, Brady?
I disagree with what you said about it. I think it's the worst game. I
Really?
think that a a Kiffin-less Ole Miss is going to get killed. I mean, I'm not a Golding believer yet. I mean, he looked good against Tulane. Just with him, their defense isn't their strong suit. So by hiring Golding as the head coach, as the DC, like that just doesn't make sense to me. He was at Alabama for a few years. Wasn't really a huge fan of him. I mean, the offense is going to keep them in. I think personally, this is a hot take. I think Trinidad Chambliss is the better quarterback in this game over Gunnar Stockton. I think Lacey is the best running back in this game. But this is all Kiffin's team. I mean, it's good that the OC is staying there, but I'm just not a Golding believer. I think
Yeah.
that their defense is going to be flawed without having you know, Golding there to focus completely on the defense. I just don't think they're going to be able to stop Georgia. So I think
Really?
it's going to be Georgia by a lot with the
Georgia
victory.
by a lot. Wow. Okay, that's
Mm,
bold. Um, I think that this game is going to be really, really close, and here's why. Ole Miss, not a great coach team. We know Kirby Smart, what he's done with Georgia over the last couple of years. It's
hmm
been great for them. Ole Miss, I don't feel like they left too much on the plate or to be had versus Tulane. I mean, that game was about as big of a blowout as you could ask for in the modern day of college football. But Georgia is the most proven team in college football, in my opinion. Indiana has played games, but they're on a Big Ten schedule. Georgia's in the SEC, and they're the highest ranked
Yeah.
team. They won the SEC, which everybody knows is the hardest conference in college football. So there's not too many questions on either of these teams on how they'll perform. I think we'll see a high quality matchup, but Ole Miss, as we said, they're coached not as well as Georgia. And at the end of the day, these players are just chess pieces. One player that goes beyond the chess piece is Trinidad Chambliss, who's been so good this year. And I think if Ole Miss is going to win the game, Trinidad Chambliss has to have an amazing game. We're talking 400 plus yards,
Yeah.
3 passing touchdowns. And so if they really want to get this dub, he's going to have to pop off. I want Georgia in this game, though, if I'm betting on it, because
Mhm.
they have a really proven defense. Stockton has been great in every moment. And Ole Miss, not a great rush defense in terms of yards allowed. So I think Nate Frazier probably will have a field day versus the Ole Miss Rebels. Give me Georgia.
Yeah. It'll be a good game. I mean, I know I just flamed that it wouldn't be, but overall at this point, I think anybody can beat anybody.
Yeah. I mean, it's really a toss-up, especially with these SEC games where you have no idea what to expect. I guess just in the college football playoffs in general, I thought for sure Texas A&M was going to trounce Miami last week. I mean, you got a team that has looked so scary and solid all year. Uh,
hmm
Proven receivers, proven defensive line, a proven stadium, obviously.
Yeah.
And then you got Miami, who's been what, average at best
Mm.
in the end of the year. I like that was so surprising to me, but you never really know in the big moments.
No, you don't. We'll see.
Yeah, we will see. And we're going to leave you here with a surprise section. So, Brady, surprise section of this week. We talked about a bunch of quality matchups, but which one is going to be the most quality? What is going to be the best game this week?
That's a tough one. I mean, they're all going to be, except for the Ole Miss Georgia game, I think they're all going to be spectacular. Um, I think I'm going to get to see a fantastic game. The Rose Bowl, granddaddy of them all, two great teams, one blue blood, one not so much blue blood. But
New to the
I think
party.
it's really going to be if, see, I'm wondering because I still do believe in DeBoer, obviously. If Saban was the coach and this was the game, without a doubt, I think this would be the closest game. But he's not. And at the end of the day, no matter how good you may say DeBoer is, he's not as good as the GOAT. Um, so it's just a matter of which Alabama team shows up. We've seen inconsistency all year. I'm riding with the Tide. I think, they're not going to be as dominant as they were against Oklahoma. They're going to have to be much more consistent. I think they're going to do that, but I think it's going to be close. So give me the Rose Bowl.
Fair enough. And, that seems kind of like a manifestation. You want to watch that good game.
I know, I do. Well, ultimately, at the end of the day, I want to see Alabama win 1,000,000 to nothing. That would be
Yeah.
incredible. But
So, yeah,
it's probably not going to happen.
Mendoza's gonna put the open to work sign on his LinkedIn page, hopefully after the game. I'm gonna go a little bit of a different route. I think the Orange Bowl is gonna be the best game to watch. Two really,
hmm
really good teams, Oregon and Texas Tech. I haven't had too many problems with either of these teams. They've gotten the job done time and
hmm
time again when they've had to. Texas Tech, in my opinion, has a few more holes than Oregon. I really like Dan Lanning, so I think this is going to be an Oregon win. On their way to the national championship, mind you. I think they run through whoever wins that Indiana Alabama game next week. But that'll be a question for round three of the college football playoffs, which you will see next week. So signing off for now. This week, I'm going to get you guys right a Jawan Bentley signed football to sign it off for this week. Here you go,
I
everybody. Have,
guess
and
I
see,
got a mic to sound off with.
yep, see you
Okay,
later.
when the boy hoodie. See ya.
Roll Tide.